Great. Right now I am presenting our chapter 7, which is some slides on the keyword research and strategy. And for capstone part 2, if you already submitted it with some keywords, that's perfectly fine. But if during this, I apologize that we were going a bit forward with it as well, but this is just because I wanted to let you guys get a head start if you liked. But feel free, if you submitted capstone part 2 to see if you wanted to update anything, please let me know. But in today's lesson, we're going to be looking at the different types of keywords that we can operate with. And then you can see here that we have a few keywords called head, body, and long tail keywords. We're going to go ahead and look at the differences between them and how to optimize them. We're also going to identify sources of keywords. And then the cool thing that we can try to do here is using some new tools for competitive keyword research. And I've shown a few of these already, like the keyword planner is really good. And the other one, the keyword.io that I posted a bit earlier, is nice as well. But we could try to go through some examples to see, okay, if I find a similar business, what type of keywords would they might be using? And then, of course, how to boost your on-page SEO using keywords. And remember, on-page is the stuff that we code ourselves. Great. With research and strategies into keywords, that's one of the top factors of influencing SEO, as we know. We always need to keep our keyword and SEO up to date to make sure that we're being searched for. And of course, again, as we see, keywords help affect the SEO, and SEO will affect the amount of traffic you get from users. And of course, users typing in a keyword and you have that keyword linked to your site, will link it to the user. Now, there's a term here called seed keywords. And the Google Keyword Planner has a way to show off this as well. But essentially what this is they are the base keywords that help form a foundation of terms for your site. So again, these keywords, the seed keywords, are more so geared towards advertising. And because they're more geared towards advertising, that can help bring in some more traffic to your site. And of course, you can always use these methods of non-organic, such as the pay-per-click things. But as you can see here, the idea of a seed keyword is that it can have multiple ideas approached with it. So again, let's see here. If I could do this one. Let me just pull up example here. Sorry, everyone. I thought I had... So I have a website here that I thought would work here. But essentially what's happening here is there's a few sites as well, such as seed keywords that we can see here that help show us what actual people search for. So again, seed keywords are keywords that are related to a lot of terms. And essentially, one seed keyword, for instance, could be like baking cookies. Let me see if I can pull up an example here, because I want to make sure I iterate these, Yes, so as we could see here, I don't think I have a website for it. But again, the seed keywords, again, are keywords that are very rudimentary. So for instance, if you're looking for sports shoes, the seed keyword in there would be shoes, because shoes are very broad. So if you're looking how to bake cookies, the seed keyword in baking cookies would be baking. So essentially what's happening is that a seed keyword is a keyword that can have lots of different implications. And you might want to start thinking for your projects and stuff like that, whichever business you're looking for, is how do what's a seed keyword I can have? And in my example, I have a dog grooming website. So a seed keyword there could be grooming. And if I want to actually be a bit more specific about it, I can make my seed keyword dog grooming. Because there's dog grooming is a bit more specific, but I might be able to branch out into other areas, such as other areas like that as well. Or I could maybe make my keyword seed keyword dog, so that I could also include stuff like play dates for dogs, or like doggy daycare and stuff, a part of my company as well. But the main idea I want to show off here is that seed keywords are the keywords that are very fundamental to everything else. And again, as an idea here, I skipped it there. Sorry. You could just kind of brainstorm this. Is if you think of tennis, how many keywords and other ideas can you come up with from tennis, right? So we could have the tennis rackets, tennis tournaments, tennis shoes, tennis tennis balls, and then tennis areas to play tennis in. So I'm saying tennis tons, sorry, but you could essentially see that you can branch out to a lot of different areas here. Yeah. Question. Oh, yes, great point, right? So we want to make sure that the keyword stays in there of tennis. So even though we could say like tennis court, the main seed keyword would be the tennis a part of that. The court aspect is just going to be one of those ideas that branch off from it. That makes sense. Does that help answer the question? Oh, sure, absolutely, great, cool. So again, seed keywords. Again, if you can find a solid one for your site, it'll be really helpful. And again, don't worry too much though. If like I wouldn't freak out if you can't or anything. But so we're gonna have a few types of keywords as well. One type of keyword going to be working with is head keywords. The other is going to be body keywords, and the last will be long tail keywords. Now, head keywords, and again, if you guys have been working away at Capstone Part 2 and you've determined keywords and stuff, feel free to go ahead and go back and review it and stuff, but there's no worries in the if you're happy with what you picked. Head keywords in this one are ones that are extremely massive and they have a generic range. So again, seed and head keywords kind of share some overlap, but essentially, as we can see here, it's generic and they don't really cater to anything in particular. And again, as you can see in the last point there, these are really useful in various topics. So if you run a business that's only caring about dog grooming or only cares about tennis or dogs are going to be a good head keyword. But again, these are not good for optimizing conversions, right? Because you can kind of brainstorm here, like how would I go ahead and try to optimize tennis to be the only thing that links to my site, right? Like there's going to be millions upon millions of results. So tennis and head keywords are going to be good for your massive and generic SEO range. But make sure that they don't, make sure that you don't only rely on them. Body keywords, excuse me, sorry. Body keywords are more so what we've been aiming at so far. These are specific and maybe only have 2 to 3 words. And essentially what these are pretty specific areas of like online shoe shopping. And we can still kind of see that it's a little broad, but we get a bit more specific there, right? So online shoe shopping is really broad, but black canvas sneakers are pretty specific. And now again, there might be hundreds of thousands of black canvas sneakers, but having that keyword in your site as a body keyword will be important. And then another one that we see here is the shirts online UK. And then, of course, that's so very broad. There's going to be tons of shirts in the UK, but again, it's a bit more specific. So again, body keywords, they are catering to a more specific audience. They still are a bit broad, but they're a bit more specific at the same time, if that kind of makes more sense. They're not as broad as head keywords, and these are probably going to be used in SEO quite a bit. Now, long tail keywords are things that might be what you want to aim for if you have a bit more of a niche market, or if you find that people are searching for quite a bit. These are very specific and usually have 4 or more words. So I do know a few of us have been picked a few businesses that are pretty specific and unique and niche. So you can definitely rely on long tail keywords in order to help to help out with specifying your audience and making sure that they can come to your site. So another example here would be online shoes, although Amazon Canada. So again, although Amazon would just be a company, a part of Amazon there, we're looking for their shoes, and then they are based around Canada. And when do you want to use long tail keywords? Well, usually these are highly specific and you can figure out the queries that people are searching for. So again, instead of just saying how to bake cookies, maybe I have a query that says something like how to bake gluten-free, low-fat cookies. And now we can see here in Amy's Healthy Baking, if I go to Amy's Healthy Baking, they have gluten-free chocolate chip cookies. And then, of course, because I have a very specific keyword that I'm searching for, this is a long tail keyword, they're going to pop up here. So we can see that I get Amy's Healthy Baking if I type in how to bake gluten-free low-fat cookies. But if I just type in how to bake cookies, I get a Betty Crocker one instead, and now my Amy isn't up there. So we could see that Amy is more so geared towards the long tail specific queries, whereas how to bake cookies is just geared towards a very broad sense. Now you might be wondering, like, okay, which ones do I use? And I would say use a mixture of them, right? Don't try to discount anything and use all the resources that are available to you. And of course, make sure, well, of course here as well, these guys here, they want to focus on the body keywords. And I would say body keywords, don't discount the head or the long tail keywords, but you want to kind of aim for body keywords as the, like, bulk or the meat of your website, right? Because if you're not going to, unless you know that people are going to be looking for you, or if you are pretty famous already, you're not going to really know what people are going to be searching for or getting specific queries. So you might want to go ahead and use these body keywords where it's 2 to 3 words that are a bit more broad and can help gain more traffic. So again, as we can see here, which of these 2 terms is a bit more for potential customers? Well, we have tennis shoes in Toronto. And then we see here the second one is tennis shoes, read book store, downtown Toronto sale, right? So this one is a bit of a mouthful, but if anyone types this in, it's probably going to link to your website right away, which is really cool. But the problem is what if you have customers that are that are foreigners and they're just driving through Toronto and they need a new pair of tennis shoes? They're not going to look at they're not going to know read book is downtown. They're not going to know that there's a sale going on. All they care about is getting the tennis shoes. So even though this might get you more clicks, or excuse me, a person might be linked directly to your site if you use this one, you're going to get more traction using this one there. And then again, if you're able to, you can always try to just use both as well. And now again, sources of the keyword is kind of what Capstone Part 2 is all about. It's a bit more complicated and there's a lot of areas that we can work with. But again, there's a few factors that make it a bit harder. Of course, the competition against people who are also trying to find keywords and put them up there. The budget that we have, the amount of money that we could spend and factor into SEO. And then the search volume. So essentially how many people are also searching for it. So these are ways that, these are ways that we have issues with finding keywords. But there's a few ways we could also go about searching for them too. Let's see here. Let me see if I can pull up another example for us here. Cool. So if I go ahead and type in how to bake cookies here, and let's just say right here in this little section right here, we have something called people also ask. And we can see here that we have a few keywords we can derive from this. Is it better to bake cookies at 350 or 375? How do you make cookies step by step? So maybe we could say how to bake cookies step by step. And we could see here that all of these queries that were, and again, for your Capstone Part 2, this is a very valid strategy as well, besides using those Google keyword things. You can look through these and say, okay, I see that we have quite a few different related searches. Maybe I can use the how to bake chocolate chip cookies step by step. How to make. Make is a new keyword that I didn't use besides bake. Maybe I can include with pictures. So you can definitely type in what you think is a good keyword and look at the related terms and searches. And again, these are all just pretty much on the front page of the search result that you type in. Great. And now another way that you can go ahead to find keywords is by going to some social bookmarking sites and online forums. So now this is a pretty broad example, but you can pretty much say, let's see here. There's gonna probably, yep. So if I went ahead and just typed in some SEO help forums, and all of these guys here, again, for our projects and stuff, it might not be it might take a while. But essentially, there's a few forums like the Google Webmaster Help community where you can go ahead and just ask for help with some items as well. So there's also the Warrior forum, and you can see here these guys have some guides like on-site SEO, mini guide to on-site SEO in 2018. And if we read through this, we can see here that there's a lot of some funny pictures and stuff. But essentially what happens is that you can go ahead and get some more utilitarian information from here and just look at extra help and look at discussions. So these are all this discussion posts that help with SEO and stuff as well. And the way I got to these is I just typed in SEO help forums. So using the internet to find some help and stuff as well is a very valid strategy. And I'm going to go ahead and link these guys to the chat as well, because I provided 2 keyword planners for us so far, and those might have been useful as well. But here's a ton of other keyword planning tools. And let me just ensure that they're all free here. Great. So WordStream has some free keyword tools that we can go ahead and use as well. Great. And then we go ahead and find the, let's say, big cookies. Let's go say Chicago. And then if I look through here, hopefully it's not an ad. Great. So this might pop up with us as well. And great, we can see here search volume is no baked cookies, peanut butter, oatmeal cookies. There's a bunch of competition. And this is just another alternative to Google's AdWord keywords. But I would say try to use multiple of them, because these guys might give you a different output than what Google would give you. And of course, we have Uber's address, Suvi, and keyword tool. These are all tools that are going to function identically, but you might get different results based on them. And then you can just type in the same keyword that you're planning on using in the different tools and see if you can get different results. Great. And now here's a little interesting thing we could do as well. We can go ahead and try to gauge our competitors' tactics and keyword strategies by using some of these, websites here. So SpyFu is a competition, and we could go ahead and, of course, you would have to pay for this one as well. But I wonder if we can go ahead and get an example. Let me go to Black Dog Gelato again, and let's see if I can type these guys in. Cool. Look at this. So this is going to go ahead and show us the competition's keywords, what they're using, and the amount of paid keywords that they have as well. And we also see that they usually are only using organic keywords. And we can see that the organic traffic is actually spiking quite a bit. And they even reached in March like 12,000 things. That might have been because of me showing it off all the time too, maybe. But we can see here that they're increasing. There's a little bit of a drop, but they're really on the rise here. And we can see here that they have lots of competitors as well. And then you can link to these as well. And then you can look at some shared keywords. And we can see here that there's quite a few keywords. Let me go back to Black Dog Gelato and see their shared keywords. Great. So we have Black Dog Gelato. And then you can also go ahead and try to check out the keywords and what they're sharing between each other as well. So this is a really neat tool. This is called SpyFu. You will have to get the full utility, but I'm just using like it as a very basic one. But again, these are ways that you can go ahead and do some more research to see what your competition is doing. And these guys are also similar tools. Great. I showed off SpyFu. But again, you can go ahead and get these statistics for their keywords, the AdWords history that they have, their rankings, and the strength of their domain. We can go ahead and use SEMrush to go ahead and get into more organic versus paid searches similar to SpyFu. We can look at some of their top anchors and the documents they refer to, and also backlinks, which are links that link back to their website. And Mozbar is a cool one for domain authority. So that sounds a bit intense, but essentially what's happening here. So let me go ahead and toss this guy up. This one might be a tool for free, or let's see here. Great. So essentially what's happening here is this is a toolbar that once you install, it will give you, once you look at a page, the strength of that page and the metrics a part of it. So essentially what's going to happen is you can double check if your website's doing okay in some areas, or if you need to get more keywords in there. You could also go ahead and check the spam that the website might get with Mozbar, and you might also be able to see the Facebook activity. SEO Quake is similar to Modsbar, where you can determine page ranks and domain authorities as well. You can get more information on links just like the other ones. And then, let's see here if I can pull this guy up. Great. Okay, so I might need to install that too. But again, these tools are similar, but are, excuse me. These tools are all pretty similar, but try them all out. I think SpyFu is going to be the best for us right now just because it's for free and in the browser. But all these kind of function, there's a lot of differences, but they're also pretty similar and some overlaps as well. So now, once you go ahead and prepare your list of keywords and phrases, you can go ahead and try to implement them, those keywords onto your websites. And there's a few ways that you can do this part of the on-page SEO process that we're going to cover. Title tags are one way that we can do this. And again, if we go ahead and look back at Black Dog Gelato and we go ahead and inspect their code, there's a few errors here, but if we go up to the head and try to find the title page, right here where I'm highlighted, I get the Gelato Shop Catering, Black Dog Gelato Chicago, and that's their title page. And we can see that gelato occurs twice, Gelato Shop occurs, catering is in there, and those are all keywords that they determined. They also have Chicago in there as a keyword. So this entire keyword, or sorry, this title is a lot better than just saying something like Black Dog Gelato. That's how you can kind of use title tags. And again, they're going to be have some keywords inside of your title tag. And remember, don't do keyword stuffing. Don't try to shove too many things into the title tag. Remember, this one down here, for our better options, Toronto Real Estate and Homes for Sale, XYX Realtors, is a bit better than constantly repeating real estate, home sale, house sale, and just kind of doing it repetitively. You might be tempted to do this because you're trying to shove more keywords in there, but having something that's a bit more unique, or excuse me, not unique, but having something that is a bit more unstuffed and looks a bit more cleaner might be better for the search engine results as well. Great. I would say also try to use some keywords in the terms or in the content of the actual web page. And again, what is the content of the web page? Well, if we look at Black Dog Gelato again, we can see here that we create our Chicago style gelato and then using a northern style base. And look, they are talking about how they make it, but you can see here they have gelato repeat a few times. And then Chicago style gelato is one that's at the top up there. So again, when you're including keywords in the content, you don't want to shove stuff in there like this one up here, where you have it repetitive, have it repeat quite a few times, but have it kind of sprinkled in there so that the search engine result can report it as well. And again, make sure that your beginning is important there. Search engines usually look at the start there. The search engine usually parses the page, but again, having something at the start, just like Black Dog Gelato did, as I keep repeating here. At the very start of it, they said, we create our Chicago style gelato, so their keyword is in the first sentence there. The structure of your content and stuff works as well. Try to make sure that your structure looks okay. Make sure that you try to spice up the website. Don't just use text, use images and videos and like different styles. I mean, web development is exploding constantly. So every website, the quality of every website nowadays is just increasing constantly. So make sure that your base quality is really good. And then, of course, using short sentences is important, as that is a way to go ahead and make sure, that the website is visible, but also isn't that rough to read. So using keywords and heading tags is another way that we can go about this. And what exactly is a heading tag? Well, if we go into the actual content of a page, let's see here. Oh, that's the wrong one. If I go ahead and inspect this guy again, this is the code inside of Black Dog Gelato. I might be able to get, as we can see here, to a heading. And now we can see inside of the heading, right here, we get the heading title tag of Black Dog Gelato, TM. And of course, that allows us to include some keywords of Black Dog Gelato inside of our heading so that the parser can find it a bit easier. Make sure that in your headings that you always go from like heading 1 to heading 3 sequentially, but make sure that you have relevant keywords in there, and also try to use some synonyms to make sure that you're not stuffing anything. Great. Another way that we can incorporate keywords is in the URL. If you have a URL, like we said earlier, make sure that you might include it there. Again, the URL of Black Dog Gelato, it has the word gelato inside of it, so the searcher will be able to know that it's a gelato ice cream store. And again, you want your URLs to be a bit more relevant to your business. We've covered this already, but it's just a good reminder that keywords can be relevant in the URL as well. Great, and I'm going to go ahead and grab this link here for you guys. Like so.